Here's all the cards. 6-deck blackjack. Dealer stands on all 17s. No surrender. Blackjack pays 3-2. Shoe number 3 of 1/2 up versus flat betting. So if you've already watched the other two shoes prior to this, you know what's going on. Or if you've watched other series, you know what's happening. If you're new, then I show you all the cards to show you that they're all there. I show you an entire shuffle procedure so that you can see that I did not set the cards up in any particular way to try to convince you that this system is the greatest system ever. Might be. I don't know. Trying to find out. That's what the test is all about. 1/2 up. The way it works is it's a positive progressive system. When you win, you increase your bet by 1/2 of a unit. Okay, so we start with 1 unit. If you win, then you start going into the progression. There's 2 different ways to go about doing that. You can either get into the progression immediately on the win, or another approach is to not start the progression until your second win. So in the first way, with 1 win, bet 1 unit, you win. Next wager is 1.5 units. You win. Next wager is 2 units. You win. Next wager is 3 units. Did I say that right? Anyways, up by half. 1/2 up every time you win. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, etc. If you can get on a winning streak that long, great. The other method is to do it after 2 wins. So you wager 1, you win. You wager 1 again, you win, and then you start to go up. So it's 1, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc. So it'll what it does is it trails the 1 win approach by 1/2 a unit. And then of course we have the flat better, which we use as our benchmark. Which should represent, for the most part, the expected house edge. So what we're trying to see is if these betting systems can do better than the house edge. Now it may not always be that this system, that any system, throughout the duration of a shoe, you still might close out the shoe at a loss. And that's okay, that's to be expected. What we're trying to see is, can you lose less or win more than the flat better? And you can't tell that off of just 1 shoe. That's why we do a 7-shoe series. Even a 7-shoe series is probably not enough, but it starts to help. Should start to level out some of the extremes. We get we've been getting at least 45 hands out of every 6-deck shoe playing heads up against the dealer. I know we've gotten as high as 50, maybe we've gotten up to 51. But at least 45. For a series, it gets us, a 7-shoe series, it gets us into the 330 hands kind of range. Actually, I guess a little more than 330, but, around there. They say that... Ooh, that was new. Kicked that card out. They say that you cannot beat the house edge using a betting system, that over the long run, things will even out. The house edge, if you're up, the house edge will bring you back down. Nobody ever says that the flip side of that would be that if you're down, that it should bring you back up to a break even, or close to. Well, not break even, but get you back to the house edge, which should be close to break even. But that really remains to be seen. That's, you know, done. That's usually done on computer simulations running millions of hands. And I've said this before, I haven't probably said it for a while. When are you going to have an opportunity to play millions of hands? So we need to look at something that's a little bit more practical. You know, if it takes us, you know, figure how long it takes you to go through a shoe at a live table. Keeps kicking out cards. And then, you know, how many hands that is, and how many hours that would be to get to, oops, I still need that, to get to 1,000,000 hands. I guess if you're a hardcore 8-hour a day player, you might be able to do it, but I don't know. So anyways, we're doing it this way. We do as many as we can, get the best results that we can. Eventually I'll come back and add additional shoes, or, you know, I already did like a 5-way comparison of Martingale, Paroli, 1, 3, 2, 6, and what was the other one in that? And Fibonacci with flat betting. So, you know, and then that gave us more hands to add into the totals. Obviously, we're getting a chance to run lots of hands in flat betting, and what we're pretty much seeing is we are pretty close to 50-50. If I remember, we're at a very, very slight gain. You'll see that in the summary from the end of the summary for the Stern series. All right, anyways, cutting the deck. And then we look for 75 to 80% penetration. Like I said, that gets us at least, come on, get in there, at least 45 hands. All right, so the flat player will be here. The 1/2 up players are here. This one is the one that increases after 1 win. This is the one that increases after 2 wins. Each position starts with 50 units. So I just quickly throw these out there so you can see that they're all here. All right. These shoes are going much faster than some of the other ones, for the simple fact that, I like them this way, that it's much more straightforward to play this, and the betting progressions are not as complicated. That's a burn card. Each player starts with a single unit. And so these go up as you win, and when you lose, you go back to single unit, starting your progression over. I'll explain more as we go, so let's just get going here. Try to keep it short and sweet. By the way, play by perfect basic strategy. If I need it, I have it over here to look it up. Usually I know, but I check sometimes even when I do know, just so I don't screw up, because then that would really screw up our results. At 11 doubles, well, actually, let me check. Okay, we're checking for the ace. No dealer blackjack. Single card, 21, 15, 17. All right, like that, we get started up right away. Let me, gonna need those. Going to do so that you can start going up by half. Okay, those are half units. They are quarters, but they represent half units. If needed, I do have quarter units, because you're going to be betting 1.5. If you get a blackjack, you're going to need to get paid up from there. It's probably best to play like in even number units. So if at a real table, rather than considering this as a unit, like $5, to then go up by 2.5. Some casinos might let you, some might not. So you might need to play at like $6 and then increase by 3. That being 3 being half the 1/2 up that you're going up 1/2 of a unit. The unit being $6. So just something to keep in mind. Ace check here is not there. 6 plus 3 is 9, and plus 8 is 17. You stand there. 20. By the way, I keep track of all the hands. That's how I know that we get at least 45 in a shoe. And also useful for at the end of the summary, that way I know that we get about, a little over 330. As well as then I can see, what our expected win-loss per hand might be. Okay, anyways, a pair of 9s is, you're not going to split that to a 10, so you have an 18. Oh, and dealer 21 anyway. Didn't bother to do the ace check because you weren't going to take any action there. All right, a 13 to a 2 stands. 6, 16, 26. And I will do it like this again. There's 2 halves to make a whole, to make 1 unit. Oops. By the way, so, in order to keep track of how many that you get in your second win, if you can see, I have a stack of white chips or single units and a stack of blue and red color units, so those are 5s and 10s. I put the win from the first win of the consecutive wins on top of the colors to help me keep track. Now, I can also tell by looking at this one, if this one's up at 1.5, since we're playing the same hands, we must have already won. But if that hand didn't exist and you're playing at the casino by yourself, or not maybe at a table with other people, you need to find a way to keep track. It's not that hard to keep track of 2 in a row, but the casino is a very distracting place. So, try to come up with a simple little system just to ensure that you stay in your betting system. Because if you don't, then you're not in a betting system. You're just kind of random, right? Let me check for that ace. It's not there. Player 8, 15, 25. So we're getting already starting this shoe off with choppy action, which is very hard on positive progressive systems. Not so bad if it's just win, lose, win, lose. It's not good, but for the 2-win player, you're basically playing like a flat better until you start increasing your bet, which you don't do till you get 2 wins in a row, which so far you haven't had. 5, 7, 17, 13, 19. Single units. Ace checks, not there. Soft 13 hits. Soft 14 hits again. Ooh, here come all the aces. Soft 15, right? Now that is 14. You need to hit again. 17. To no avail. Well, it's not often that you see 3 aces come out in a row, but that's how it happened. That's a shuffle. You could say that you see 3 kings in a row, 3 8s. It doesn't really matter. There's no significance of an ace. 18, 12, 17. Oh, you won. Look at that. Okay, let's see if you can get 2 in a row, because that's what you need. So again, I'm going to put that there to mark that we are preparing to get into the progression. Well, there's the first half. That's a nice card. That's not so great, but standing to a dealer 4, 12, 18. See, I obviously, well, not obviously, but you saw that I put all the cards out and shuffle them. This is how real card games go in a casino. You think you got to win, and the house beats you. 7, 17. All right, that was the first 10 hands, and we just keep going. So because of this choppy action, the 1-win player is starting to trail a little bit. These 2 are still exactly the same. He's effectively been playing flat over here. 13, 22, 19. You have won a couple hands. Like I said, that's actually worse for this player. Certainly a reasonable candidate for the worst shoe ever. We'll have to see how it goes. 13, 14, 16. Card counters, I don't know if you're hitting this because we've seen a lot of little cards. Anyways, that is 16, 21. Will it hold? In the worst shoe ever, you would somehow still lose this. But no, miraculously, you won. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Here's another opportunity to get the progression going. You need that win streak. You always want a win streak, even when you're playing negative progressive systems. Why bother losing? Just win. Wouldn't that be nice? Soft 15 needs to hit. That is 14 and 17. 14, 22. Anything lower than the 8 wouldn't have been so good. That's why I always tell you that the 8 is the most important card in the game. All right, I got to give you a couple halves right there so you can start getting into the progression. So 1.5. Now I can move those off. This one moving up to 2. I'm going to keep the halves down there. 1, 1.5, 2. Okay. 19, I don't need to ace check, I'll just flip it, and that's the end of your progression. Easy come, easy go. Well, not so easy come. Easy go for sure. So, just to clarify, some people have said, I'm doing this wrong, that every position needs to get their own set of cards, right? So that's how you normally play, right? Like, you got first base, second base, third base over here, even though, whatever all these other ones are. Whatever they call them, the middle of the table. Usually everybody gets cards here, 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 and then the dealer. 12 stands. 12, 15, 20. Man. But the reason that we're doing this like this is it's when everybody gets their own cards, and if you play at a multiplayer table, like you normally would, this guy can be getting really good cards. This player can get mediocre cards, and this guy's getting really bad cards. And maybe this guy's playing wild and crazy. He's splitting 10. He's splitting 2 10s, and this guy's playing conservative and by the book, but yet he's losing. So that's not helpful. Or maybe this guy's and this guy's wildly modulating his bet. 14 stands, and so you're not going to really see who's performing better until everybody's playing the same hand. Like, you might look over at the other guy going, oh man, if I had his cards, I'd be rich. But he's playing stupid. He's not increasing his bet or something. Not that he's playing stupid, he's playing his way. And if you're playing your way, maybe your way would do better, would do better on the better cards. So that's why everybody plays here the same hand. The only way I can think of doing it. Anyways, you're not going to split 5s. If you're going to do this, this would be a split, and putting your chip down like this and saying 1 card, that's your double down. Okay, you don't split that. Then you might end up with a pair of 15s. 1 card. 21 or 11. You want to play it as 11, 15, 25. Okay, so even though you actually won 2 here, you just treat that as a bonus. Same way as we would do in some of the other systems. You don't suddenly say, oh, well, that's 2 wins, so there I have that one that, that would put there, and then I would start, since that's 2 wins, I'll start going up in the progression. No, we're not doing that. And same thing here, that, oh, it's 2 wins, so instead of going to 1.5, going to 2, no, just go to 1.5. If you want to do it that way, that's your choice, but that's not how we're doing it, and I need to be consistent, or we're not going to get good results. If I go, oh, well, this time we're going to do it this way, and the other time we'll do it the other way, I don't know. That's certainly gets farther and farther away from trying to be scientific. Which is, you know, I'm not going to say this is scientific, but it would be less scientific doing that. Alright, so let's get into the progression again. Let's keep the quarters over there on the player side. You got 2 wins in a row. Can you make it 3? Well, or can you do even better? You're going to, this goes here. I gotta give you change. 1.5 and 2. Okay, we'll do this one first. 19, that's good. This one. 19 again, that's good. 9, 19, push, push. So, a push is just a repeat. You're not gonna, you know, this is your new bet or your split wager. You're just gonna take it back. You're not gonna press it onto all of this stuff. So here we go. 1, 1.5, 2. It's as if nothing happened. We just burned some cards. Maybe this will be the shoe where we don't get to 45 because we're kind of wasting cards like that. We had the other hand where we had a long draw. 20. 18. Hey! Does that make 3 in a row? I think it does. I'll tell you one thing for sure, that's another 10 hands, so that's 20. And we're moving this player up to 2 units, and this one up to 2.5. 16 hits. 20. Hey, cards are going your way right now. 9, 19. Now we should start to see this player's stack growing at a higher rate because now he's winning. So he's going up to 3. It's 2.5 and 1. 15 stands. 5. 7. 11. 17. No, that's the end of that streak. Made up some ground, but I still think the flat player might be still in the lead just by a couple units. Not a lot of disparity between the stacks, not yet at least. Okay, let's make sure the dealer doesn't... Oh. Push. No insurance on that. You can't do that. You don't take insurance anyway. Oh, whoops, 14, 16, too many, 22. Come on, 12. Well, now I ask you for insurance, which of course you decline. Well, at least you had that little win streak. Let's see if you can't get another one. Well, I'm going to have to ask you again, insurance. Insurance closed. Back to back for the dealer. That sucks. At least you had the option of having insurance. It's worse when the ace is under. You don't even get an opportunity to protect your hand. 7, 12, to a 3 still hits. A lot of people don't like to do that, but that's what the book says. 22. 9 would have been 19 if you didn't hit. So definitely not a good shoe, but if you ask me, I think it's a realistic shoe. 18, 15, 22. Come on. Well, let's see if we can get the progression going again. Gonna make it hard, huh? Insurance. Insurance closed. Ouch. do proper sequence here. Getting a little bummed out. So 18 stands, 14, 21. Goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's another 10 hands. We're moving right along. That makes for 30. So you're about 2/3 of the way in, maybe less. You might get 46 out of this one. All right, pair of threes. Let's just verify. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I love to split, especially, yeah, what am I thinking? Especially against a 6. That's an easy one. You know, I like to double down 9s to 7s, even though it's not recommended, even to 8s. I don't do it. I think I must have used to, but that's not what strategy says, so I don't do it anymore. But man, I want to, because it's, you know, you're still pretty good. 13, that's going to stand. We'll play this one. 8, you want to double that? No. 11, you want to double that, right? What's that? 16, you're good there. Hopefully you took all the good cards for the dealer. See? And 17, so this one's a loss. And this one is a loss. Yep. Lose, lose. Wonderful. I can't even give you a blackjack. All right. 13, 15. There we go. 25. Why couldn't the dealer bust on that last hand? Oh, oops, no, I got to put that there. Well, I don't have to, but I do. Regular viewers know I get easily confused. Oh, man. A nice double down opportunity. Not happening. Maybe this is the worst shoe ever. I mean, even in the worst shoe ever, you should expect to have a very, very short win streak, shouldn't you? 16, 26, 11. I'm not sure how many consecutive losses that's been. You know, this is the advantage of a positive progressive. At least, you know, you don't keep growing your bet as you're losing, like Martingale and Fibonacci, digging yourself into a hole that you may not be able to get out of because you'll either run out of money or you'll hit the table max. 19, push. Well, push is not a loss. Everything's the same here. Now let's just make sure. A pair of 2s. 2 of 7 yet. You split that. Look it up. You don't believe me. Of course you do. You know I wouldn't cheat you. This one first. 12, 2 of 7 needs a hit. 16 needs to hit again. Oh, I'm pretty sure a card counter would not want to. I know we've seen a lot of little cards, but we're not card counters. Not today. 16, 22. This one. 5, 15. Come on. No good. No good. But note all those little cards that have gone by. Yeah? And they keep coming little. And now then you put a big one on top. That's no good. Oh. Alright. This just might be the worst shoe ever. I'm pretty sure a card counter by now would be upping his bet. Thinking that that you burned through all the little cards, so you're due for big cards. Of course, even when the deck is, or the shoe is rich in 10s, there's still going to be little cards in there. There's almost no way that every card left is above the cut is a big card. See? 12, 16, 25, and you see the little cards keep coming. But I still think a card counter and the big cards are in here too, you're just not getting them. I still think that a card counter would be upping his bet by now. Anybody out there counts? Have you been keeping count as we've been doing this? I haven't. I got enough to try to keep track of already. And look, they keep coming. One of these days, I don't know, maybe there's big cards have come in and we just haven't really noticed them. But it sure does seem like smaller cards. And actually, you know, I know some of these are null cards. You don't count them into, they don't factor into the count. 14 stands to a 3, 10, 20. We burned through all of these that I just cashed in. Then I'm sure that we've gone on a long enough losing streak that it would have wiped out Martingale, would have wiped out Fibonacci by now. 16, 18, 18, push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, that's another 10. That's going quick. That's 40. Expecting maybe 5 more. Had a few splits, more than usual, I think. But, you know, so you've seen this has been a bad losing streak, and a lot of systems are based on the fact, you know, they say that, oh, the odds of getting 8 losing hands in a row are so low that, you know, it almost never happens. And if it does, then you absorb those losses. Well, they do happen. I don't know how many losses in a row that was. It sure did feel like a lot. Maybe you escaped with Martingale by the skin of your teeth. I don't know. Doesn't feel, it feels like it went pretty far down. 20. All right, look at you. All right, now the middle player there with the 2 consecutive wins can get in on the progression. This one's coming up to 2. You need these last few hands to go your way to give you some semblance of getting back, you know, of equilibrium, bouncing through. 14 stands to a dealer 5. 9 makes it hard. 14. That's good. That worked. That's 2. We'll bring that one there. This one will now go to 2.5. See if you can't keep it going. Insurance closed. It's not there. 12, 22. You don't. Not enough of a run there. 19. Well, that was hand 44, which means this is hand 45. So in spite of all the splits, etc., we have made it. I think you actually want out of this shoe sooner. That has not gone well. Insurance closed. It's not there. 15, 25. It continues to go very poorly. Split those. That was hand 45. Hand 46. No end in sight. 19, 17. Not yet. This one, though, 1/2 up. Soft 14 to a 2. I doubt you're not gonna double that, but I will just look just to make sure. No, it's just a hit. Soft 17 to a 2. Let's just make sure you do still. Wait. Yeah, you still hit that. I know, it's obvious. I just want to make sure. Hard 17. Now you're good. 6. 16. 18. Man. Little cards keep coming. Definitely, for sure, we have now seen a lot of little cards. Somebody go back through and do some card counting. Watch again. That's the cut. So we can finally put this shoe behind us. 14. 4, 13. What do I keep telling you? Well, it's not an 8, but still no good. 18. 18. That was 48 hands. 48 hands. 48 hands of pain. Alright, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36. Puts you down for the flat better by 14. That is substantial. That, you know, that is a very, very bad shoe. I'm not even sure if that might be the most that the flat better has ever gone down. I'm not sure. Pretty bad though. If that's $5 table, you just lost 70 bucks coming to the table with 50. Okay, that's not good. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35 puts you down 15. So you're down 75 bucks over here. This was 14. That way. 14 and 15. And this player is going to be even worse because that choppy action really ate up his chips. 10, 20, 25, 30. 1, 2, 3 and a half. 33 and a half. 16 and a half down. So, right there. 16 and a half. So, 48 hands. The flat better down 14. The 1/2 up player with two, moving up on the 2 wins is down by 15. And the 1/2 player up who gets into the progression right away is down 16 and a half. So difference of 1, difference of 1.5. So we're not able to do better than flat betting. Again, very, very bad shoe. I think this shoe may have even busted out a martingale player. But hey, that's how this game goes. Anyways, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.